WCW felt the need to complicate matches with interference and bloated storylines, causing overbooking that fans hated. WCW had a negative track record of overbooking matches. The main event core, made up of the biggest names in WCW, was arguably the most impressive promotion of all time. However, WCW often took away from dream matches and attractions by doing too much overbooking instead of giving a fulfilling payout. Today's WWE and AEW matches, with a lot of interference or a cop-out finish, will likely result in a backlash from the live audience. Seth Rollins vs. Bray Wyatt showed how this can backfire and hurt both talents. WCW has always done this, and it played a part in the downfall. Each of the following WCW matches were overbooked to make fans hate it. Well, feel free to write your opinion about these matches if you remember them. I'll be interested to read what you think about it. Enjoy watching! Number 10. Kevin Nash vs. Goldberg, Starrcade 1998. Goldberg's unbeaten streak can be called WCW's greatest idea. Goldberg became the greatest superstar of all time and won the WCW Championship less than a year after his debut. Kevin Nash faced Goldberg at Starrcade 1998 in what looked like one of the most important matches in the company's history. WCW had the audience truly captivated to find out if Nash would end the streak. Nash beating Goldberg wasn't the worst idea in the world, but the overbooking took away from it. Disco Inferno, Bam Bam Bigelow, Scott Hall, and a cattle prod, all helping Nash win, made the match a negative memory. Number 9. Jeff Jarrett vs. Diamond Dallas Page vs. David Arquette, Slamboree 2000. WCW has received a lot of criticism for making David Arquette the WCW champion after he starred in Ready to Rumble. However, his actual pay-per-view match often gets overbooked for just how bizarre it was with Vince Russo's booking. The Triple Cage match from the movie was used at Slamboree 2000, when Arquette defended the belt against his friend Diamond Dallas Page and Jeff Jarrett. Arquette betraying DDP to help Jarrett win, and a wild post-match angle of Mike Awesome throwing Chris Kanyon off the cage to the ramp showed peak WCW overbooking. Number 7. Sting vs. Jake Roberts, Halloween Havoc 1992. WCW foolishly left their Halloween Havoc 1992 main event up. That changed when having the mystery stipulation decided on a wheel spin. The worst possible option was the one the wheel landed on, with a coal miner's glove match. Sting and Roberts tried hard to make the absurd gimmick match work to failed results. WCW overbooking the idea in itself took away from a potentially great match between two of the best wrestlers of that era. Number 6. Sting vs. Hulk Hogan, Fall Brawl 1999. A lot of people would say that the infamous 1997 Starrcade match between Hulk Hogan and Sting should be on this list, but it was very much loved at the time. Despite the shortcomings, Sting finally defeated Hogan, giving fans the moment they've been craving for over a year. In 1999's Fall Brawl, Hogan and Sting went head-to-head in a news story when Hulk returned to the red and yellow face act. Sting turned heel after 4 wrestlers interfered when the referee was down. Everyone was confused as Sting won the title in controversial fashion. Number 5. Team WCW vs. Team NWO Wolfpack vs. Team NWO Hollywood, Fall Brawl 1998. The War Games were arguably the greatest match stipulation WCW has come up with through years of great matches. In the late 90s, it started to fade after WCW made some changes and overcomplicated it. In Fall Brawl 1998, 3 teams battled each other. 9 famous wrestlers represented the New World Order Wolfpack, New World Order Hollywood, and the WCW team. The match was even more overbooked when a future title shot was announced as the prize for the person to score the winning pin, taking away from the team dynamic. Number 4. Ric Flair vs. Hulk Hogan, Uncensored 1999. Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair have had many pay-per-view matches in WCW, but one of them stood out for the wrong reasons. Uncensored 1999 featured Hogan facing Flair in a First Blood cage match that already sparked confusion before the match even took place. Referee Charles Robinson did not stop the match when Flair began to bleed, as he was dishonest referee. Flair won the match when pinning Hogan thanks to a fast count, despite the entire match being built around the loser bleeding first. Number 3. Bret Hart vs. Goldberg, Starrcade 1999. WCW hoped that the feud between Bret Hart and Goldberg would bring back fans after the huge slump the company went through in 1999. Vince Russo taking over at the end of the year when Hart defended the WCW Championship against Goldberg in the 1999 Starrcade main event. Bret could have realistically carried Goldberg to a good match if these were WWE days, but the WCW booking style ruined it. The finish saw Roddy Piper coming out in a referee shirt and calling for the bell. Confused, Hart won the match and the spectators didn't understand what had just happened. Number 2. Randy Savage vs. Sting, Spring Stampede 1998. Sting, who won the WCW Championship from Hulk Hogan to pay for the war with the New World Order, had fans expecting a long title reign. At the time, WCW didn't fully believe in Sting, and just a few months later decided to pull a title change. Randy Savage won the WCW Championship at Spring Stampede 1998 after another wildly overbooked finish. A jealous Hulk Hogan tried to prevent his stablemate Savage from winning the gold. Kevin Nash then interfered to help Savage win the belt in the first signs of the NWO splitting into two factions. Well, here is the first place. What match do you think it turned out to be? Press pause and write your guess in the comments. So, number 1, The Giant vs. Hulk Hogan, Halloween Havoc 1995. One night saw WCW's overbooking moments playing out in the absolute worst case scenario. The Giant made his debut match to challenge Hulk Hogan for the WCW Championship at Halloween Havoc 1995. However, they had a pre-match spectacle of a sumo monster truck match, trying to ride each other off a roof. The Giant eventually fell off the roof but somehow made it back to his match that night, Jimmy Hart turning heel and Giant winning the WCW Championship via disqualification featured an all-time overbooking disaster.